classroom was quiet. Big screens showed pictures of strange, dangerous places. These places were called death worlds. The teacher pointed at the pictures. He was a tall man in smooth gray clothes. He looked very serious. "Look," he said. "These worlds are too harsh. Too many dangers. Too much poison. Too many monsters. Life there must always fight just to live. There is no time for thinking. No time for building. There's no time for becoming smart. No intelligent people can come from such terrible places. It is impossible." The students listened. They wore clean clothes. They looked safe and comfortable. One girl had skin that looked like clear glass. A boy had fingers that seemed too long. They all nodded. It made sense. How could smart people grow where everything wants to kill you? Suddenly, the big door slid open with a quiet hiss. 2 guards walked in. Between them stood a man. He was different. He wore clothes made of tough, brown leather. The leather looked old and worn. His boots were heavy and scuffed. His face had a few old scars. He looked around the room. His eyes moved slowly, looking at everything. He didn't seem scared. He seemed calm. Very calm. The teacher walked towards the man. "Class," the teacher announced, his voice loud in the quiet room. "This ... person ... was found. Found on a real death world, a place called Earth." He said the word person like it wasn't quite right. Like the man was an animal in a zoo. "Look at him. See how he is made. No thick skin for armor. No claws. No sharp teeth. He looks weak, fragile. He looks like food for the real hunters on his world." Some students whispered. The girl with glass-like skin leaned towards the boy next to her. "Looks so small," she said softly. "He looks like something that gets eaten." It's the man. Jack heard her. He just glanced her way. His face didn't change. He stayed calm. The teacher walked to a clear wall at the front. Behind the wall was a cage. Inside the cage was a creature. It was not from Earth. It had 6 long legs, each ending in sharp points. Its skin was hard and dark, like rock. Drool dripped from its mouth. The drool sizzled when it hit the floor. The creature threw itself against the clear wall. Its sharp legs scraped against it, making a horrible scratching sound. It hissed, showing rows of needle-like teeth. Its eyes were black and angry. The students gasped. Some pulled back in their chairs. One made a small scared noise. The smell of fear seemed to hang in the air. The creature looked terrifying. It looked unstoppable. "See?" the teacher said, turning away from the cage. He sounded proud. "This is a real death world hunter, a void strider. From a world with crushing gravity and endless storms, this is true power. This is what dominates a deadly world." He looked back at Jack. His eyes were challenging. "Now, human, tell us. What would your people do if they met such a beast on your Earth?" Jack looked at the creature. He didn't look scared. He looked interested, like he was studying it. "Hunt it," Jack said. His voice was quiet but very clear. The room went silent for a second, then laughter burst out. It wasn't kind laughter. It was the sound of people who thought he was stupid. The teacher smiled a thin smile. He didn't believe Jack. "Hunt it." The teacher repeated, mocking him. "With what? Your soft hands? Your weak body?" Shook his head. "Prove it. Show us how your kind hunts." With a push of a button on a small device, the teacher turned off the clear wall. The force field holding the void strider vanished. There was nothing between the angry creature and the classroom. The creature hissed. A terrible wet sound. It focused its black eyes on Jack. It crouched low on its 6 legs. Then it sprang. It moved like lightning, straight at Jack, jaws open wide, dripping acid. The students screamed. Some covered their eyes. The teacher stepped back quickly. Jack didn't scream. He didn't freeze. He moved. It was fast and smooth. He stepped sideways just enough. The creature's snapping jaws missed him by inches. As it passed, Jack grabbed the nearest chair. It was a simple metal chair. He swung it hard, not wildly, with purpose. The chair slammed into the creature's side with a heavy thud. The hard shell cracked. The creature screeched, stumbling. Jack didn't stop. He hit it again on one of its long legs. The leg bent the wrong way with a sharp crack. The creature collapsed, thrashing. Jack raised the chair one more time and brought it down hard on the creature's head. The thrashing stopped. The creature lay still. Silence filled the classroom, a deep, heavy silence. The only sound was Jack's steady breathing. He looked down at the broken creature. Acid drool from its mouth had splashed onto his leather sleeve. It smoked slightly. Jack wiped it off with his other hand, like wiping away dirt. He looked up at the teacher, A's. His face was still calm. He spoke simply. Earth has worse. The classroom stayed completely silent after Jack spoke. No one moved. The dead creature lay on the floor. Acid still smoked where its drool had touched the floor tiles. Jack stood beside it, holding the bent metal chair. His breathing was slow and steady. He didn't look tired. He didn't look excited. He just looked like a man who had finished a small job. The teacher stared at Jack. His smooth gray clothes seemed too tight now. His face had lost its proud look. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. His eyes darted from the dead creature to Jack and back again. Finally, he made a sharp gesture to the guards near the door. Clean this up, he ordered. His voice sounded higher than before. 2 guards hurried forward with special tools. They carefully lifted the creature's body onto a floating cart. They avoided looking at Jack. One student, a girl with skin like clear glass, leaned forward. Her name was Emma. Her eyes were wide as she watched Jack wipe acid off his sleeve. How? She whispered. How did you do that? The boy next to her, Noah, with long thin fingers, nodded. He looked pale. It moved so fast. You moved faster. Jack placed the broken chair on the floor. Practice, he said simply. On Earth, things move fast. You learn or you die. The teacher stepped closer to Jack. He tried to stand tall again. A lucky move, he said loudly for the class to hear. That beast was tired from the cage. Anyone could have done it. But his hands shook slightly. He pointed at the big screen behind him. It now showed a picture of a huge animal with thick fur and sharp teeth. This is a bear. It's from your Earth. Tell me, human. How would your soft people hunt something like this? Jack looked at the picture. Alone, with a spear or a knife. Laughter started in the class again, but it was nervous this time. Not so sure, Jack continued. First, you find its track, then you follow. For days, through snow, through rivers, you don't sleep much. You wait until it's tired, till it turns to fight. Then you move inside its reach. Fast. He made a quick stabbing motion with his hand. One good strike. Here. He pointed at the bear's neck on the screen. Noah raised a long finger. But it could crush you. One hit from its paw. ... Jack nodded. Yes, many hunters die. But if you win, you eat for weeks. Your family eats. Your village eats. Emma shivered. You follow it for days? In the cold? Without sleeping? Sometimes, Jack said. The teacher made a frustrated noise. Stories. Just stories to scare children. He walked to a panel on the wall. He pressed buttons. A low humming filled the room. We have a machine here. It measures pain. How much hurt a body can take before the mind shuts down. He pointed at Noah. You boy, come here. Noah slowly walked to the front. The teacher placed a small metal disc on Noah's arm. This won't harm you, the teacher said. It just sends small pain signals. Tell us when it's too much. Noah stood straight. I'm ready. The machine beeped softly. Noah flinched. His face tightened. At the third beep, he gasped. Stop. Please stop, he cried. The teacher removed the disc. Noah rubbed his arm, breathing hard. The teacher turned to Jack. Now you. Jack held out his arm. The teacher placed the disc. The machine beeped once. Jack didn't move. It beeped again, louder. Jack's face stayed calm. The machine beeped a third time, then a fourth. The sound was sharp now. The lights on the machine turned from green to red. A warning light flashed. Still, Jack stood quietly. He watched the machine like it was a small, uninteresting bug. The teacher stared at the flashing red light. Impossible. This level would make a warrior scream. Jack finally spoke. Earth hurts you every day. Gravity pulls harder than you know. The sun burns your skin. Plants grow thorns. Animals bite. You learn to carry pain like an old coat. He took the disc off himself and handed it back to the teacher. Your machine is ... gentle. Emma stood up. But why? Why live on such a world? Jack looked out the window at the stars. Because it's home. And home makes you strong. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared through the room. Red lights flashed on the ceiling. A voice boomed from hidden speakers. Battle stations. Enemy ships attacking. All students to safe rooms. Panic erupted. Students jumped from their chairs. Noah grabbed Emma's arm, pulling her toward the door. The teacher froze, eyes wide with fear. Only Jack turned toward the window. His body tensed like a coiled spring. Outside, bright flashes of weapons fire lit up the dark space. A huge, jagged warship filled the view. Jack picked up the bent metal chair again, tested its weight in his hands. "Who's attacking?" he asked, his voice low and steady. The teacher trembled. "Kryn raiders, slavers. They'll destroy us all." Jack watched the warship fire its weapons. A small smile touched his lips. "No," he said. "They won't." Panic filled the classroom. Students screamed and pushed towards the door. The teacher stood frozen, his face pale. Outside the big window, bright flashes of light exploded in the dark space. A huge, ugly ship fired weapons. Smaller ships buzzed around it like angry insects. The whole floor shook. A loud boom echoed through the walls. Emma and Noah huddled near the door with the others. Fear showed on their faces. "They'll break in," Emma cried. "They take people." Jack didn't move towards the door, stayed by the window watching the battle. His body was tense, ready. He still held the bent metal chair. "Who is on that ship?" he asked the teacher. His voice was calm, cutting through the noise. "The Queen." The teacher stammered, pointing at a smaller, sleeker ship caught near the big attacker. "Queen Helena. Kryn want her. They take strong people for slaves." He looked desperate. "We must hide." Jack turned away from the window. His eyes scanned the room quickly, saw the communication panel near the teacher's desk. "Can you talk to that ship? The Queen's ship?" he asked the teacher. The teacher blinked. Yes, yes, the comms. "But why?" "We must run, call them," Jack ordered. "Now put me through to the Kryn leader, the one attacking." "No," the teacher gasped. "You can't talk to them. They are monsters." "Do it," Jack said. His voice was quiet but hard as stone. He took a step towards the teacher. "Or I will break that panel and do it myself." "Faster." The teacher flinched. He saw the look in Jack's eyes. He hurried to the panel, his hands shaking. He pressed buttons. A low hum filled the air. A screen lit up, showing static. "Channel open." "To Kryn flagship," the teacher whispered, stepping back. The static cleared. A face filled the screen. It was not human. Thick gray skin, small yellow eyes, sharp teeth bared in a cruel smile. "Who calls the Kryn?" A rough voice growled. "Surrender now, little bugs." Jack stepped in front of the screen. He held the bent chair loosely. "This is Jack Miller," he said. "Of Earth. Stand down. Leave the Queen's ship alone. Go away." The Kryn on the screen stared. Then it laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "Earth, the soft world. Huh. Or what? Soft skin. You will cry. You will beg." Its laugh turned into a sneer. "We will take you too. Weak things break easy." Jack didn't smile. He didn't frown. He just looked at the creature. "No," he said. "You don't understand Earth." He turned to the teacher. "Show him. Show him the wildlife files, the predators, everything." The teacher looked confused. The teaching files. The Deathworld examples. "Yes," Jack said. "Show him the bears. Yeah, the sharks, the snakes, the big cats. All of them. Show him now." The teacher fumbled with the panel. Pictures flashed on the screen beside Jack's face. A huge brown bear roaring. A great white shark bursting from dark water, teeth like knives. A coiled snake, fangs dripping. Lion. Muscles rippling under tawny fur, jaws wide. The Kryn leader leaned closer to its screen. Its yellow eyes narrowed. It watched the bear swipe a tree trunk like it was paper. It saw the shark tear through metal in the simulation. It watched the snake strike faster than a blink. It saw the lion bring down an animal much bigger than itself. The sneer faded from its gray face. Jack spoke again, his voice low and steady. "My people live with these. We hunt these. We tame these." He pointed at the images. Imagine, slaver, what we do to things that hunt us. What we do to things that take our people. He leaned slightly towards the screen. Leave now, or Earth will send hunters. Hunters like me. We don't take slaves. We take trophies. Silence filled the classroom. The only sounds were the distant booms of battle and the terrified breathing of the students. The Kryn leader stared at Jack. Its yellow eyes flickered to the images of the shark, the bear, the lion. Its thick throat moved as it swallowed. The cruel smile was gone. Only fear remained. It looked away from the screen. They heard it bark an order in a harsh, guttural language. Then it looked back at Jack. The fear was still there. Without another word, the screen went dark. Static returned. Outside the window, the smaller Kryn ships stopped firing. They turned sharply. The big, ugly mothership stopped firing its weapons too. Slowly, it began to move away from the Queen's small ship. Its engines glowed brightly as it picked up speed, heading away into the dark space. The attack was over. The classroom was utterly silent. Everyone stared at Jack. He put the bent chair down on the floor. He looked at the teacher. I told you they wouldn't. The quiet after the Kryn ships left felt heavy. Everyone stared at Jack. The teacher leaned against his desk, breathing fast. Ma and Noah slowly walked back from the door, their eyes wide. Outside, the Queen's small, sleek ship moved closer to their big school ship. Connecting tunnel reached out like a metal arm. The big door to the classroom hissed open again. Everyone turned. A woman walked in. She wore clothes like Jack's, tough, dark leather, marked with old cuts and burns. Her dark hair was pulled back tight. She had a strong face, calm like Jack's, but her eyes scanned the room fast, missing nothing. She walked straight to Jack. They clasped hands, a firm, quick grip. Jack, she said. Her voice was clear and strong. Heard you scared off some pests. Just talked, Helena, Jack replied, showed them pictures. The woman, Helena, turned to face the class. The teacher pushed himself up, trying to look important again. Queen Helena, he said, bowing his head a little. Welcome to the Academus. Your safety is our relief. Queen Helena nodded briefly. Her eyes went to the broken chair and the marks on the floor where the Void Strider died. A small smile touched her lips. Looks like Jack had some fun already. She looked at the students. You all thought humans were weak? Like your teacher said? Emma found her voice. He said death worlds make only monsters, or fools. Not smart people. Helena laughed, a short, sharp sound. He was wrong, dead wrong. She walked to the front. Earth is a death world. Yes, but humans. We are what happens when life fights hard to think, to build, to survive. She pointed at Jack. He looked soft, no claws, no thick skin. Good, we don't need them. We move fast, we heal fast. We make tools, we turn anything into a weapon. She held up her own hand, showing a long, pale scar across the back. Tiger claw. When I was 15, I learned I survived. She pointed to another scar near her ear. Ice storm. Frozen rock cut me. We survived the cold too. The teacher stepped forward. Forgive me, Queen, but words are easy. Proof is hard. How can simple air and dirt make you so... strong? Helena reached into a pocket on her leather pants. She pulled out a small clear tube. Inside was a little bit of dark soil and a few green leaves. Proof? She asked. Here. She held the tube out to the teacher. Earth, air. Just a little bit. The air from my ship. Breathe it. See what our simple air does. The teacher looked nervous. He took the tube. He glanced at Jack, then back at Helena. Slowly, he pulled the small cap off one end. He hesitated. It is just air, he asked. Just air, Helena said calmly. To us, the teacher put the open end near his mouth. He took a small, quick breath in. His reaction was instant. He gasped. A horrible choking sound. His eyes flew wide open, filled with panic. His hand flew to his throat. He started coughing violently, his body shaking. He dropped the tube. It clattered on the floor. His skin turned a sickly gray color. He stumbled backwards, crashing into his desk. Then his legs gave way. He collapsed onto the floor, wheezing and clawing at his neck. Students screamed. Emma covered her mouth. Noah took a step back, horrified. "He's dying," someone shouted. Jack moved. He knelt beside the shaking teacher. From his own pocket, he pulled a small, flat case. He opened it. Inside were tiny white squares. He took one out. He grabbed the teacher's jaw firmly, forcing his mouth open. He placed the white square under the teacher's tongue. "Hold it there," Jack ordered, his voice steady. Slowly, very slowly, the teacher's choking eased. His wheezing became less desperate. The gray color faded from his skin. He lay on the floor, breathing hard, trembling all over. Helena walked over and picked up the dropped tube. She sealed the cap back on. She looked down at the teacher. "Earth air," she said. "Full of things your bodies have never known. Tiny bits of plants. Tiny living things too small to see. To you, poison. To us, normal. We breathe it every day. Our bodies fight those tiny things without us even knowing." Jack helped the teacher sit up against the desk. The teacher looked up at Helena, then at Jack, pure terror in his eyes. You live in poison." Helena nodded. "Hey, we don't just live in it, we thrive in it. Our world is full of things that can kill. The air, the water, the plants, the animals. We didn't beat them by being big or tough. We beat them by being smart, by being stubborn, by adapting." She looked around the room at the shocked faces. Deathworlder doesn't mean monster. It means survivor. It means we became strong because our world demanded it. Nothing on your safe worlds ever demanded that from you. She put the tube back in her pocket. "That is proof." The teacher sat on the floor, leaning against his desk. He breathed slowly, carefully. His face was still pale. He looked at Queen Helena and Jack like they were something completely new, something impossible. The fear in his eyes had changed. Now it was mixed with a strange kind of awe, respect, maybe even a little fear of a different sort. Around him, the students were quiet. They watched Helena and Jack. No one laughed now. No one whispered that humans were weak. Emma looked at Jack's scarred hands. Noah stared at the small case Jack had used to save the teacher. They remembered the dead creature, the retreating slaver ships, and the poison air. Helena offered a hand to the teacher. He hesitated, then took it. She pulled him easily to his feet. He swayed slightly, but stayed standing. You are not what we believed," he said, his voice rough. "No," Helena agreed. "We hid it. Galactic rules. Other species. They get nervous, scared. They made agreements. Humans pretend to be softer than we are, less dangerous. Easier to ignore?" She gave a small shrug. "It keeps the peace. Mostly." Jack walked over to the window. He looked at the Queen's sleek ship, still connected to theirs. "Time to go, Helena. Reports to make." Helena nodded. "Always reports." She turned back to the class. "Remember what you saw? Remember what you learned today. Strength isn't always big teeth or thick skin. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's smart. Sometimes it's just refusing to die." Emma stepped forward. "But why?" she asked again, her voice small. "Why stay on a world like that? Why not leave? Find a safer place." Jack turned from the window. He looked at Emma. For the first time, a real expression softened his calm face. Something like understanding. "Earth is home," he said simply. "It made us. It shaped us. Its dangers are part of us. Like the air we breathe, we belong there. Leaving it would be like cutting off an arm. You might live, but you wouldn't be whole." He walked towards the door where Helena waited. Then he stopped. He reached into a pocket inside his worn leather jacket. He pulled out something small, wrapped in a thin green cloth. He walked back to Emma and held it out. Emma carefully took it. She unwrapped the cloth. Inside was a tiny green plant. It had a thin stem and 2 small perfect leaves. Its roots were wrapped in a little ball of dark, rich soil. "It's an oak," Jack said, "from Earth. A tree. They grow big. It's very big. Strong. They live a long time. Through storms, through fire, they grow in cracks and rocks." He touched one tiny leaf gently. "Life finds a way. Even on a death world, it fights, it grows, it survives, like us." Emma held the little plant carefully in her hands. She felt the coolness of the soil. She saw the bright green of the leaves. It looked so small, So fragile. But Jack said it would grow strong. She looked up at him. "Thank you," she whispered. Jack gave a small nod. Then he turned and walked out the door with Queen Helena. The teacher watched them go. He looked old suddenly, tired, but his eyes were thoughtful. He walked slowly to the front of the class. He looked at the pictures of Deathworlds still on the big screen. He looked at the empty space where the Void Strider had been. He looked at the tiny oak tree in Emma's hands. He cleared his throat. "Forget," he said to the silent class, "everything I said yesterday. Forget everything I taught you about Deathworlds and evolution." He pointed to the door where Jack had left. "That man, he's not an accident. He is not a mistake. His people, ... they are not weak." He took a deep breath. "They are what happens when life is pushed to the very edge. Instead of breaking, it gets smarter, tougher, more adaptable than anything we ever imagined." He walked over to Emma. He looked down at the little oak tree. "This," he said, his voice firm now, "this small green thing, it is proof life doesn't just survive on a death world. When it's stubborn enough, smart enough, ... it thrives, becomes the strongest thing there is." He looked back at the class. Humans are not the dead end. It might just be evolution's greatest work. Remember that. The students looked at the tiny oak. They didn't see a weak plant. They saw the green forests of Earth. They saw Jack standing calm against the monster. They saw the slavers fleeing. They saw the poison air that was just normal. They understood. Strength wore many faces. And sometimes, it looked like a quiet man with scars, carrying a piece of home in his pocket. The classroom was quiet, filled with a new kind of wonder. The lesson was over. New understanding had begun.